beneath the polished veneer of British history. Under the gilded crowns and grand palaces lie stories so dark, so unsettling, that they were deliberately buried. These aren't just ghost stories told around a campfire. These are ancient legends, whispers of a time when magic was real. Monsters roamed the land, and the line between myth and reality was terrifyingly thin. Today, we're unearthing the legends the English crown tried to hide. Our first stop is the windswept moors of Dartmoor, a place of stark beauty and chilling tales. Long before it was a national park, it was said to be the hunting ground of the Yeth hounds, also known as the wish hounds. These spectral dogs, with human faces and a cry that sounds like a wailing child, were believed to be the souls of unbaptized infants. They hunted across the moors at night, chasing lost travelers and leading them to their doom. The legend was so potent that for centuries, locals would bar their doors and refuse to venture out after dark, fearing the mournful cries of the pack. Why would the crown want this story suppressed? Imagine trying to govern a populace that believes the very land they walk on is haunted by the souls of lost children. It's a tale that speaks of a pagan, pre-Christian England, a wildness that authority has always sought to tame. From the moors, we travel north to the rugged coastline of Northumberland, home to the legend of the Lambton worm. This isn't your garden variety serpent. The story goes that the young heir of Lambton Castle, while skipping church to go fishing, caught a grotesque worm-like creature. Disgusted, he threw it down a well. Years later, while the heir was away fighting in the Crusades, the worm grew to a monstrous size. It emerged from the well, coiling itself around a local hill and terrorizing the countryside, devouring livestock and even children. Knights came from all over to slay the beast, but it had a horrifying secret. Whenever it was cut, the pieces would instantly rejoin. The story became a symbol of a curse, a deep-seated rot in the land itself. The official histories prefer tales of chivalrous knights and noble deeds, not stories of cursed aristocrats unleashing unstoppable monsters upon their own people. It's a powerful allegory for a noble house's sin poisoning its own domain, a narrative the powerful would rather forget. Now, let's journey into the heart of London, to a story hidden in plain sight. We all know the Tower of London as a place of royal history and crown jewels. But its foundations are soaked in blood and something much older. Before it was a royal fortress, the site was said to be the home of Bran the Blessed, a mythical giant king of Britain. Legend says that after he was killed in battle, his head was buried on Tower Hill, facing France, to magically protect the realm from invasion. For centuries, this pagan totem was the true guardian of the kingdom. But when Christianity took hold, and later Norman kings built their stone fortress, the story of the giant's head became an inconvenience. It was a reminder of a pre-Christian power, a magical tradition that rivaled the divine right of kings. So the story was suppressed, replaced by tales of treason and execution. Yet a trace of this ancient magic remains. The famous ravens of the tower, they are said to be the modern-day keepers of Bran's protective spirit. The prophecy persists. If the ravens ever leave the tower, the kingdom will fall. A superstition the crown begrudgingly tolerates because some legends are too powerful to erase completely. Our next tale takes us to the fens of East Anglia, a marshy, mysterious landscape that was once seen as a gateway to the underworld. Here we find the legend of Black Shuck. This isn't just a ghost dog, it's a harbinger of death. Described as a colossal hound with flaming red eyes, Black Shuck roams coastal paths and lonely country lanes. To meet its gaze means your death is imminent. One of the most famous accounts comes from 1577 in the town of Blithburg. During a terrifying thunderstorm, Black Shuck burst through the church doors. It ran through the congregation, killing a man and a boy before causing the steeple to collapse. The creature left scorch marks on the church door, marks that are still visible today. These weren't just peasant superstitions. Church records documented the event. But for an emerging scientific and rationalist state, a demonic hellhound attacking a church was a problematic narrative. It suggested that divine protection was fallible and that ancient malevolent forces still held sway over the land. It was far easier to dismiss it as a freak lightning strike than to admit something sinister and uncontrollable. Was stalking the countryside? Let's delve deeper into the very origins of England itself. We're taught that the English are descended from the Anglo-Saxons, but an older, stranger story was once the official history. The Asterisk Historia, Regum Britannia Asterisk, a medieval text, claimed that Britain was founded by Brutus of Troy, a descendant of the Trojan hero Aeneas. After the fall of Troy, Brutus led a group of followers to a promised island, then called Albion, but the island was not empty. It was inhabited by a race of giants, led by the fearsome Gogmagog. A brutal war ensued, with the Trojans eventually slaughtering the giants and claiming the land, which Brutus renamed Britain after himself. This foundation myth of a nation born from the violent conquest of a mythical race was widely accepted for centuries. So why was it scrubbed from the history books as England sought to establish itself as a modern European power? A fantastical origin story involving giants became an embarrassment. It smacked of fairy tale, not fact. The Tudors and Stuarts preferred a more respectable lineage, one that could be traced through historical records, not epic poems. And so the giants were forgotten, and the story of England's birth was rewritten. Finally, we arrive at one of the most famous and sanitized legends of all, King Arthur. The version we know today is one of chivalry, romance, and the quest for the Holy Grail. But the earliest Arthurian tales are far darker and more brutal. In these Welsh legends, Arthur is not a noble king in shining armor, but a fierce, often ruthless warlord, fighting against both Saxon invaders and supernatural horrors. He battles werewolves, witches, and even giant boars possessed by demonic spirits. His court is a place of blood feuds and betrayal, not courtly love. His magical sword, Caliban later Excalibris, a weapon of terrifying power. This primal pagan Arthur was a figure of fear as much as respect. But as the monarchy consolidated its power and Christianity became the state religion, this wild figure had to be tamed. He was transformed into a Christian king, a paragon of virtue, his story reshaped to support the ideals of the ruling class. The raw, violent, and magical truth of the original warlord was a threat to the established order. A reminder of a time when kings were forged in fire and blood, not anointed by God. From spectral hounds and giant worms to buried heads and forgotten giants, these legends paint a picture of an England that is wilder, darker, and more magical than the official histories would have us believe. They are echoes of a time when the world was governed by different rules, by forces that kings and queens could not control. Suppressing them wasn't just about creating a more civilized history. It was an act of power, an attempt to erase the untamable spirit that has always lurked just beneath the surface of the green and pleasant land. These stories survived because they speak to a deeper truth about the island's soul. They remind us that no matter how many castles are built or histories are written, the old magic never truly dies. It's waiting in the shadows, on the moors, and in the ancient stones, ready to be rediscovered. Thank you for joining me on this journey into England's hidden past. If you enjoyed uncovering these forgotten legends, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more explorations into the world's darkest mysteries. Let me know in the comments which of these legends you find the most chilling. Until next time, stay curious.